trap shit. Sergeant Smack make it backflip. Telly Hank it with the action. With the vital speaking Spanish. Frank Matthews, how I vanish. Poof. Came back like I'm King Tut. Gold BBS is on a beamer. When Fat Cat was 10 queens up. Ball off the profit, not the re-up. Fly like Puerto Rican Jesus. Uptown like I'm Baby Maine. Just caught a touchdown from the bay.
$1 million worth of drugs seized by state investigators, but that's not the only crime here. This drug bust is also allegedly linked to the murder of a former Baltimore basketball star. WJZ is live tonight. Annie Rose Ramos with the indictment of 19 people, including a Baltimore rapper. Annie Rose.
Well, Nicole, this is what over $1 million worth of drugs looks like, seized by authorities during their investigation into a Baltimore-based drug gang run by rapper Lorax.
We recovered nearly 9 kilos of fentanyl. That's about 20 pounds.
An investigation leading authorities to stash houses in Baltimore, where they found guns, heroin, and 9 kilos of fentanyl.
In 9 kilos, it could cause the overdose deaths of 4 million people.
Maryland's Attorney General announcing Thursday the indictments of 19 alleged gang members
who were involved in a drug trafficking organization,
starting with their accused leader.
The leader was a man named Xavier Johnson.
Xavier Johnson, a rapper known as Lorax.
Johnson would direct members to rent apartments that served as the enterprise's drug stash locations.
The indictment also connects Lorax to the 2019 murder of Gerald Brown, a former basketball star from Baltimore. His murder.
A standout basketball player and community leader gunned down in northwest Baltimore. Hello, everybody. I'm Rick Ritter.
And I'm Vic Carter. At this hour, Gerald Brown's murder remains unsolved.
He is one of several people shot during an especially violent weekend in Baltimore.
WJZ investigator Mike Helgman is live at the scene of the killing in northwest Baltimore with reaction tonight. Mike?
Vic and Rick, he's remembered as a loving dad with a great sense of humor. This is where it all ended for him. And family members are grieving. Many in the community wonder whether the bloodshed will ever stop.
That's how they was.
Gerald Brown, also known as G-Songs, was a comedian and father who cared about his community. And in his earlier years, Brown was a standout basketball player for both Frederick Douglass High School
Gerald Brown
and Loyola University.
Brown looks to go one-on-one with Miles.
He was shot to death Friday on West Forest Park Avenue at the beginning of another violent weekend.
We're asking for anyone who knows or who heard or who thinks they know anything about any of these violent offenses to call us immediately so we can hold people accountable.
Commissioner Michael Harrison spoke about that violence after he greeted a new class of 38 police recruits.
While people may have different thoughts about what they think about Baltimore, these 38 people have enough love in their heart and desire to help that they want to be police officers here at a time when we critically need it.
More than 130 people have been murdered in Baltimore this year. Mayor Young said he wants more federal funding to track the guns entering the city.
Totally unacceptable. You know, there's not a day that I don't get out. And this was even before I was mayor, trying to figure out what we can do to make this city safer.
Brown's death remains unsolved. Loyola remembered his infectious smile and outgoing personality and called him one of the top basketball players in school history. He died at just 34 years old.
It has to take all of us together to deal with this issue of violence. It's a disease that's ravaging our neighborhoods. Too many sons are losing their mothers and fathers and brothers and uncles and aunts, and we will have to get sick of it ourselves in order for us to change it and cure ourselves of this disease.
And right now in South Baltimore, there's a crime walk underway. It started about 15 minutes ago at Hanover Square Park. They're going to walk by the site of a double shooting over the weekend and includes several city council members and the commissioner. Live in Northwest Baltimore, Mike Helgren, WJZ.
Johnson directed Mr. Brown to rent an apartment for the use of the enterprise.
The indictment charges Johnson with
drug kingpin and with managing a criminal gang.
After a month-long investigation,
identified and in charge an entire network of individuals we believe were supplying hundreds of people in the Baltimore region with heroin, fentanyl, and other drugs.
Yo, we back. It's your boy Pop-A-Lot. Mob ties. We on our way to Maryland with it. Murderland. Baltimore. Baltimore, South Baltimore to be exact. All my niggas from Baltimore, y'all niggas get in the comment box. From South Baltimore, we definitely need y'all to check in. And before I even get into who we covering, is it even like that in Baltimore where a nigga asks you where you from? Then you gotta be like, oh, I'm from West Baltimore. I'm from South Baltimore. I'm from East Baltimore. I think I heard of all three of those, to be honest. I don't think I heard of a North Baltimore. That sound like probably where the white people at. I don't know. Y'all need to hit me. But y'all get in the comment box. Let me know, man. Yeah, but we gonna be covering none other than the infamous Xavier Johnson, or Lord X is what they call him, or some people just call him the South Baltimore Godfather. Now, according to the government, Lord X is going to be the head of a 19-man drug trafficking organization that pretty much operates out of South Baltimore, but distributes drugs throughout Baltimore City. Now, we're going to kind of break that down a little bit. Most people might know, some might not, but I know a lot of people know. I want to say Baltimore is probably, if it's not, it's one of the headquarters for the crisis in opioids. I want to say they have an epic number of overdoses, and I know them shits is going on everywhere, but them shits is definitely hitting in Baltimore. Y'all name some more cities in the comment box if I'm wrong. I know that's going to be one of them. But according to the government, the investigation into Lord X revealed that members of the criminal enterprise sold fentanyl and heroin primarily throughout Baltimore City. And they going to say, like I said earlier, Xavier Johnson was going to be the alleged leader or the head of this indictment, and they say he would direct members and associates to rent apartments in downtown Baltimore that served as the enterprise's drug stash locations, and high-ranking members of the enterprise would manage these stash locations and transport a vast amount of narcotics to street-level dealers within the enterprise territory. Now, Johnson and other members of the enterprise utilized their social media accounts to broadcast, promote, and advertise their criminal activity. Lord X used his internet persona, and they pretty much went on to say how he would promote himself as Lord X / the South Baltimore Godfather, and he would use that persona to promote his music career as well as the enterprise's drug trafficking operation. Gosh, I almost couldn't get that shit out. And I really couldn't get that out because I really couldn't wait to almost say that if this was my first time hearing about him when the indictments came out. I want to say that the summertime is when the shit really, really hit. But after time, I went back, kind of did my research, listened to the music. And one thing I got to say about this shit here is, if you're doing that shit, man, put some fiction into that shit, because he got some songs that almost kind of like lay up the whole conspiracy. It's almost like a book. You couldn't write it even better. So where I guess him or his team had him go online, they pulled his Instagram page, because you know that's the first thing they're going to do is use your social media against you. So that went down immediately. But the thing about it, when you're doing music videos, them shits like grow legs of their own. So you might pull it down, but the minute a music video is almost like a IG live, them shits live forever, because you might pull it down, but that shit done traveled through so many pages and so many different shit that if you're trying to hide it from the government, it's going to be almost impossible. And you know, they be like, oh man, it's like finding a needle in a haystack. Imagine trying to find 10 million needles in one haystack. Man, you're going to be getting stuck in. So it's like, you almost got to be conscious of what you're doing. And I think a lot of people, I don't think nobody go into doing illegal shit trying to transition with the wrong idea. But I think people, where they get the wrong idea, or what they have the wrong idea about, is the amount of time that you have to transition when you're doing something illegal. And on top of that, especially when you broadcasting it, so say like, I mean, if you got a year when you're doing something illegal, if you're not broadcasting it, you got a year. You start broadcasting that shit, man, you got 3 months, man. You done cut your time by a quarter. So it's just like, especially if that illegal business, shit is just wild now. The world is just so different. The shit is waking up. It's like the most craziest movie I ever watched when I was a kid, because not only will somebody like do a murder, they'll probably put it on live. Not only will somebody run a criminal enterprise, they'll just lay out the whole shit pretty much, or go on Vlad and just pretty much like, yeah, nigga, I just sold 3 bricks. Like, who the fuck, who's doing that? So, but between that and the snitch-friendly culture that's going on right now, because it's shit to the point where a nigga snitch on somebody, and the nigga he snitched on probably gonna throw that nigga a welcome home party, and not a surprise one. The nigga gonna know about it in the whole shit, man. Yeah, come on now. It's just fucking wild. But yeah, so he has music videos, and one in particular, because it's like, once you're a musician, you can't take that down. If you go listen to How I Feel, that it's gonna paint the indictment before anything. And that was released, I want to say, April 15th, 2020. And I'm almost certain that's probably going to be something that they try to use against you in during trial, besides the evidence that they got against you. Now, during the long-term investigation that they had into Lord X, law enforcement recovered nearly 9 kilograms of fentanyl and other narcotics and multiple firearms, though, and they pretty much set him up through the use of undercover buys, and they obtained search warrants based on those undercover buys. Now, almost all the seized drugs were determined to be fentanyl or a mixture containing fentanyl, and if you don't know, fentanyl is 50 to 100 times more potent than heroin or morphine. So that's where the spike in overdoses is happening now. And the government will go on to say that the dismantling of this drug trafficking organization is significant because dedicated police officers and prosecutors have, through an extensive investigation, identified and charged an entire network of individuals we believe were supplying hundreds of people in Baltimore's region with heroin, fentanyl, and other drugs. Like you heard one of the deputies say, he had enough fentanyl to kill 4 million people. They ain't really gonna play around too much when you fucking around on that kind of level. So we wish the best of luck to Lord X. We hope he be there, hope he come home. Want to see him drop some more of that music. Y'all make sure y'all follow me on Instagram, on Twitter. It's your boy Popalot, POP_A_LOT. Y'all get at me in the comment box. Y'all get at me under the pictures. Y'all direct message me, whatever it is. I'm here for all this shit. And we're going to be back with some more real trill spill shit. Mob, ties.